And welcome to the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. Who's doing roll call tonight?
I will take care of that.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Gant?
Here.
Commissioner Stolnak?
Present.
Commissioner Lubes?
Here.
Vice Chair Watson?
Present.
Chair Moda?
I am here.
Wonderful.
Thank you. We have quite a few presentations tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to just pass it right on off to you.
Yes, so Honorable Chair and members of the Commission, tonight we are excited to announce our employee spotlight for this month. Connie Thrasher, who is our recreation specialist, she's in charge of pickleball. So Connie started her involvement with the city of El Segundo as an ambassador. She is a fanatic of pickleball, a player, a coach. So she started here with us in 2018. However, just in the past year or so, she's joined on as city staff. And during that time, she has grown the pickleball quite significantly. Our leagues are expanding. There's over 80 teams. She has contract instruction. She has special events that she does. She just has really stepped up to the challenge and met this need in the community. And I believe will continue to grow and evolve as the sport continues to. As you all know, it's very, very popular. Connie is very creative, she's hardworking, she takes initiative. She's one of those employees that we don't really need to closely supervise because she knows what's needed and she just gets it done. So she's really deserving, I think, of you know, being in the spotlight this month. And even though she's not able to join us, wanted to congratulate her for all of her accomplishments.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to number 2, budget requests.
Yes, so Honorable Chair and members of the Commission, I asked our acting recreation manager / analyst to present just a kind of a quick overview of some budget requests that the department is making this year. I do want to emphasize that these are requests. The budget will go before the council in May for discussion and then in June for adoption. And one of the reasons I wanted her to share this is I think it's really important that the commission understands what my priorities are for the department and how that translates into resources that we need to get things done. And I'm of the belief, and I worked with staff, that you ask for what you need. You know, this is a community that takes a lot of pride in our rec park library facilities. And it's important that there are resources behind that, and so we can continue to move things forward and not end up in a situation where our buildings are in such severe need. So that's kind of the overview, and I'll turn it over to Linnea, and she'll walk through it with you.
Hello. So I just did a brief overview of some of the highlights from each division that we requested. So just starting with the library division, they haven't prioritized necessarily going to trainings and conferences in the past. So they're doing a big push this next year for all their full-time staff to go to the American Library Association Conference and their part-time staff to go to the California Library Association Conference in Pasadena. They are going to have they're requesting a new library video display board in the lobby, much like the one that you see out here in City Hall. They want to incorporate that there. And then we are going to dive into the developer impact fee funds that we have. So the previous funds that we had, we're going to request $30,000 of that to be used for new tables and chairs for the Sue Carter room downstairs. And then $18,912 is going to go towards 4 new computers for the children's library. So those are computers downstairs that the kids can use for gaming. There's currently 2, so 2 are a replacement for the current, and then 2 additional. and then $7,700 for additional books and materials from those developer impact fees. So those are very specific on what you can use them for. The new DIF funds are for additions of computers and books. So they're very specific, but the previous ones can be used more widespread. So the Parks Division, they are requesting a new stump grinder. We do have $36,000 of that coming from the Equipment Replacement Fund. So the additional $50,000 would be a new request. $15,000 of their budget to upkeep the downtown hanging baskets, $20,000 towards a refresh of the hilltop restrooms, and $50,000 for laser grading of 2 fields. So they're hoping to kind of rotate year after year with that $50,000. And then their repair and maintenance budget, some just outtakes from that is trash can replacements, picnic table replacements, and going through Clutters Park and trying to make some updates to those tables and benches. So for the Recreation Division, we added $5,000 additional funds for the brochure printing, $5,000 for more Tiny Tot events throughout the year. We have a very popular Valentine's. We're bringing back like the spring break shows and Halloween events throughout the year. $10,000 towards the East Garden. So we have East and West Garden right outside of Joslin Center that for 15 years has not been updated. So we went with Parks and we are put together a request for raised planter beds, new wood chips. Under the pine tree, we want to put a greenhouse because nobody can really plant in their planter underneath there. So we're hoping that goes through. $23,600 additional for special events. We're trying to improve our special events, adding new attractions to that. $8,500 for camp program growth. We are adding more space in our Camp Cowabunga, splitting that junior and senior Camp Cowabunga, more weeks of teen camp, more weeks of Tiny Tots, and doing an AM and a PM, and bringing back some of our sports camps. So that's exciting. And then additional $14,500 amongst each of the buildings, just for deferred repairs and maintenance for the different facilities. And then overarching, we did meet with our Public Works and Finance to try to get in with our CIP projects. So making sure there's funding going in for Recreation Park renovation phase 1, and then some of those projects that kind of got eliminated from the phase 1, like the courts and the lawn bowling area. Playground and equipment replacement. We're really pushing for this next year to get funds for the tot lot at Rec Park and the older playground. And then setting aside a playground reserve fund for the next few years to be able to, those ones that haven't been replaced in the last few years, like Sycamore Park, Candy Cane Park, and Holly Kansas Park. So we can have some funds for those. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions or any special requests that maybe we can try to push last minute for, please let us know.
Dave, go ahead.
Does the Parks Division control the developer fee fund? You said it's specific for specific things, but it is all recreation only? And is it library only?
The developer impact fees? Okay, so those are, technically we have, in the new set, we have recreation facilities, park beautification, aquatic center, and library. So those went into effect a few years ago. I think last year was the first one that pulled it. So basically, I think most of them are like when somebody does an ADU to their property, it's adding for when we're thinking there's gonna be more residences. So they have to pay dollars to their permits towards those funds. So it's to think there's going to be more uses at our rec facilities or more utilization at our parks to go towards those
But it
funds.
is 100% for Recreation Division.
Our line item, yes. Well, each of those are a specific line item, and those go towards exactly that. I can pull the Nexus and maybe kind of do a
I
deep
guess my question
dive.
is really, is there more money in that fund that you
There's-
don't need to ask council for permission to use?
You always
Yes.
have to ask council for permission to
Even for
use it.
that fund?
Even for that, yes. So there's a lot of restrictions around impact fees and how they can be used. There's a whole chapter in the Muni Code. But to be honest, I think we've not utilized it well. So that's something we're doing. There's not, millions of dollars in there right now, but there's
Tens of
enough.
thousands?
Yes, Yes, and so we are gonna be, some of the things that we're asking for, we're gonna take out of those funds. So a lot of the library stuff and things like that. So we're gonna start tapping into that because really you're supposed to use it within 5 years of getting it. The developers can come back and ask for the money back if we don't spend it. So we're doing a better job of tracking that and making sure we're making use of that. And it's to mitigate, additional population in the city. So the idea that if there's a new development in town and 100 people are moving in, you have 100 more people using the park and 100 more people that need to check out books. And so it's really, it really relates specifically to population growth. So it's very specific about what you can do. You can't replace things, you have to add.
Thank you. The one piece I guess I'm not hearing, is any part of the developer fees go to departments outside of Recreation Division?
Yes.
Or there, so so the specifics are, so you're not getting the full pot of developer
No,
fees? You're
there's-
getting the portion that goes
There's
to parks.
water
and that's-
impact
so it's-
fees, there's
it's ve-
police
yeah, so it's
impact
really
fees, yeah.
Not much money.
It's a decent amount of money, but yeah, we share it.
How much does the Recreation Park have right now
Oh.
allotted to it?
I don't have the number off the top of my head. We can bring back a report on the
Just
developer
curious, 'cause, I mean,
fees,
something else.
yeah. We can do that.
Can I ask,
Of course.
so I see that you've got the Recreation Park tot lot up here.
Mhm.
But last time we talked, I thought we were gonna see if we had existing funding put aside to, because it was in dire need. This feels like we're hoping that we're gonna get some money, but.
So we have Measure A monies right now that we're sitting on. So Linnea's looking into how much of that we can use for what types of, improvements. But this is basically for fiscal year 24, 25. I've asked for, I think, 600,000?
600,000 for next year.
Yes, so I'm
So,
hoping
but-
to do this next year.
Okay, so we're not gonna, but we can't do anything on that tot lot until.
It wouldn't make sense to do anything on that tot lot until next year because I'm looking at replacing both playgrounds.
The
The-
new
the-
year begins July 1.
July 1.
That's right. Okay.
So it's soon. We're not, it
Yeah.
probably won't be till the end of next year because I have to bring in people to give me options. We'll probably want to bring it here and have people weigh in on what they want to see and, but we're asking for the money in the next fiscal year.
Okay.
We're prioritizing Recreation Park because we've heard from the community that that's a big priority.
Yeah, they came here to this meeting.
Yes.
But so, are there certain things they can't even use right now, though? Like, or did that get?
Yes, there are a couple of pieces of equipment that they just don't have the replacement parts for. So, that.
Oh, and so we have to get new models because those. old
Right,
ones-
or you take that out completely. So it's just been, a little bit difficult, and sometimes we wait, see that if we think we can get the piece, but if it's taking too long, and at this point, because of the interest in the community, there's a petition going around, it's time. It's time for those playgrounds to be updated.
Well, and I appreciate the reserve fund because it's like, this is just continues to happen over. and over.
Exactly, and I've actually requested that every year moving forward, we get $300,000 for a playground equipment fund, every year. So we'll be able to, hopefully stay on top of the park renovations. I think it's really important.
I know, right? That's the cheapest bid problem too, right? It's a really cheap bid, but we have no replacement part.
Right,
I see it down here. No? Okay, Julie.
I saw on the council meeting that they had a section there where they wanted to reject the bids on the construction of the library park pathways. So can you explain to me why that was going to be rejected, and could that fall into this?
so we can't discuss that because it's not directly related to this.
Okay.
But if you want to bring it up during your new business, then I can comment on that.
Okay, and then, is there anything that falls within, Joslin Center and getting, some things, for the seniors, within Joslin?
Yes, we have, how much, 14?
I don't know his budget exactly off the top of my head, but he increased his budget and he has budget left over this year as well. He just needs to pinpoint exactly what he wants to use those on.
And we
Okay.
did ask for additional repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
So like covering the pool recovering the pool tables, there's several things that he recommended.
Okay. Okay,
If you have specifics, I
Yeah,
would
please email
recommend
us.
emailing to Ryan as well. I'm sure he's open to comments.
okay.
Is that it? Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing, the shuttle. Did Ryan get a request to you for money for the shuttle?
Like for next year's budget.
Yes.
So we have the Prop A, I think it's 438 is the estimated amount for this next year. We did put in to keep the funds, to fill that amount with our current programs, but it's just put in the line item, so we still have the ability to change those contracts and requests.
You can change the use.
Okay,
We had to put the request in, though.
yeah. Well, I just wanted, because you had said last time that we need to put in the request,
Yes.
so I just want to make sure.
Yes, request
Budget
went in.
Yes.
And I only have one, $50,000 to laser grade 2 fields. Which 2 fields?
Christopher?
We were looking at Stevenson and softball field. Stevenson and softball? Correct.
50 is enough to do more than just laser grading. 50 is enough to do a pretty good renovation. And then the ongoing could be a lot less for just annual, but to get it back to where, I think that's probably to get it back up to premier condition. And then moving forward, they won't probably have to do 50 a year, I'm guessing.
And that's just for this year?
Correct.
Okay. And what about Brett? Is that in?
I'll have to let Christopher, I'll defer to Christopher
Okay.
on his laser grading.
That would be the following year.
Just wanted to make sure we had it in line, that we're moving down. Okay, I appreciate that, but I want people to know that we're moving.
Yes,
It's in every other year.
Yeah, okay,
it is.
right. Okay. Thank you for that report and presentation. And now number 3, Abandoned Reservoir Project, Hilltop Park.
Well, I apologize that I don't see Mr. Sassoon with us. I've got a text to him, so if he's comes in later, we can perhaps go back to these.
We can go back to those
But in the
two?
meantime, yeah, we can move to number 5.
Okay, number 5, the National Charity League Commendation.
Yes, and I'd like to invite Christina Cora Beckman, our senior librarian, up to say a few words.
So we have worked with the National Charity League in various capacities over the years. They had approached us this year about their National Day of Service and how it had a literary focus and how they'd love to partner with us. So working with them to help craft the project and then execute it has been a great partnership, and we really appreciate working with them and everything they've done for the community. So they actually have had one of their awesome teens prepare some words, so I'd love for you to hear from them what they helped accomplish. So.
Hello, my name is Christabel Hurahan, and I'm the VP of Culture for the class of 2027. It is my pleasure to be here today to accept this commendation on behalf of NCL Beachside. Thank you to Christina, the whole library team, and the commissioners. For our day of service, and in honor of the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his education initiative, the National Charity League Beachside chapter chose to collect new books and design bookmarks with a diversity, equity, and inclusion theme to donate to the El Segundo Public Library. We were able to partner with an incredible local bookstore, The Book Jewel, to streamline purchasing books all within the library's curated list without duplicates, which enabled us to reach our goal of over 100 unique books to be distributed to Center Street School, Richmond Street School, El Segundo Middle School, and El Segundo High School. We united as a community to collect quotes, make artwork, and create over 500 bookmarks that will be distributed at the El Segundo Public Library. NCL chose literacy as our theme for our day of service because it was a subject that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was very passionate about, with a special focus on DEI to help our next generation of readers see different perspectives, stories, and experiences. Thank you again for this recognition of our chapter.
Thank you, that's wonderful. Where is the
Thank-
commendation? Is it up
thank-
there? Okay,
She's got it right there.
do you want to let them read it? Okay. The chair or whoever,
Bring it right, you know what?
all right.
I'm gonna let you
And then we'll
read it.
do a picture with everyone. Great.
Delightful. Well, as a founding board member of the NCL Beachside chapter. Class of 2020 and 2022. All right, so whereas the National Charity League, NCL, as part of the National Day of Service, developed and implemented a literacy project specifically focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. And whereas, as part of the project, NCL members designed and decorated bookmarks with DEI quotes that are available for youth in the El Segundo community. They also collected and donated new DEI books to the 4 school libraries to promote reading and inspire El Segundo youth. And whereas, as part of their mission, the mothers and daughters of NCL strive to make a positive impact in the El Segundo community. Their donation will encourage El Segundo youth to read about experiences different than their own, see themselves in literature, and instigate curiosity for the world around them. And whereas the NCL Beach Cities chapter helps communities thrive by strengthening mother-daughter bonds, developing leaders, and elevating cultural awareness. And whereas the NCL practices philanthropy, the active effort to promote human welfare, and through their programs empower women to succeed as confident, well-rounded contributors to society. Now, therefore, on this 20th day of March, 2024, the Recreation and Parks Commission of the City of El Segundo, California, hereby take great honor in commending the National Charity League on completion of their DEI literacy work, which inspires youth at the main library and the 4 school libraries. Thank you.
Would you guys,
Signed each of the commissioners.
would you guys like to come up and do a picture with the commission and the, maybe Linnea, you could take a picture?
Here, Mr. Chair, you can hold it. Thanks.
There you go. All right, let's see. We need some, let's see, is there, yeah, you maybe, we need some squeezing in there, in the middle. There you go, there you go, there you go. Wonderful. Smile. She's got all the cameras.
Yeah, let me take some of mine.
Congratulations. Thanks for coming down. Thank you. Yes, we'll pass these out. Thank you. Don't feel like you have to stay for the meeting unless you want to. We always tell people. Appreciate the hospitality. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks.
Okay, Elias is still not here, so with that, we'll finish the presentations for now.
Yes.
And if, hopefully we can, he'll come in and we'll take it up where we need to. And with that, we'll move to public communications. Related to commission business only, and that is within the subject matter under the jurisdiction of the commission. 5 minutes per person, please. And the Brown Act does not allow the commission to take any action on any item not on the agenda. So now is the time. Step up, state your name if you could. This is your time.
I'm Barbara Boland, 637 Whiting Street, here in El Segundo, representing, well, I'm here as the El Segundo Blue Butterfly Conservancy, and I just want to thank Christopher, Joseph, the two Eddies. We had an amazing planting last month, first planting on the hillside over by Imperial. Julie was there, several other people came, many people came. But now this Saturday that was the one that was sponsored by Chevron. This weekend, on Saturday, is our second and last planting of the season, and this one is sponsored by the Rotary Club, and they bought the plants for this planting, and we're extremely excited. We have over 300 plants going in on Saturday. We have total of 500 habitat for El Segundo blue butterfly plants that will have been planted. And we have lots of Rotarians coming. We have Boy Scouts. We have about 50 volunteers in 2 shifts coming to help us out. So it's the beginning of this vision. I just wanted to say that I have now of El Segundo with our pollinator garden that will be coming in, with the rose garden. We're kind of developing and the different phases as we move and start to get some more money going towards the butterfly, planting and making El Segundo a really great garden place that people will want to come and visit. In next December, I don't know if anybody's seen the fountain where the pollinator garden will be. It's full of native wildflowers. That in December we will do on the hillside. People will actually see that when they take off. People want to come and visit El Segundo on instead of driving 3 hours to to the desert. It's going to be a great place to bring business in for lunch. People will come, spend the afternoon, go to Library Park, have a picnic. See, the roses probably won't be blooming yet because it'll be around May, April, March. But then we'll have also, and will take about 3 years for the habitat to grow and to really dig in on the hillside. And we'll have scientists, we'll have people coming from many different places throughout California to visit this native habitat. So thank you so much. Collaboration is just beginning, and we're really excited, and thank you so much for your support. Yeah, thank you. So we're really happy. Thank you. Anybody can come by on Saturday. We're there from, people will be planting from 10 to about 2:30. You don't have to plant, just come and see what's going on. Hillside, it's on Imperial Avenue between Hillcrest and Loma Vista. We're right there, Memory Park. So it's kind of wonderful because it's also Memory Park with the people planting trees for their loved ones and the whole thing about the metamorphosis of the butterfly and life. And so thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you. Anyone else for public communications? Now is the time. Okay.
Do you want to speak?
Well, my gripe is the kids on the e-bikes running over
Please step right
up
up.
here.
And
Colonel Yori, United States Army, retired. My daughter you'll probably see her. She's a blonde girl with a golden retriever. El Segundo Parks, the rec park is getting too dangerous for her to sustain just going from the park, through the park, to anywhere to eat. The e-bikes kids are buzzing the dogs. She has a service dog that's probably almost been killed 15 times. Right now, I personally walked the dog. I witnessed the kids setting fire to the park. They threw rocks and lemons at moving vehicles. And you complain to the park employees, and all you get when you go in there is the kids looking on the phone going, "There's nothing we can do." And one said, "We can't do it because it's the city council's kid and we're not allowed to talk to him." So if that's true, that's scary. That we have a no-go, don't touch the kids that they're for Bowdoin. But I just let you know, personally, it's getting very scary for a handicapped kid to utilize the park with their service dog. That's my bitch for here. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you get his contact
Thanks.
info?
Anyone else for public communication? We appreciate everyone that comes in and speaks. It is, it helps us. We can't respond to them, but staff will take a look. With that, we will close public communications and move to the consent calendar. Approval of the minutes of the Recreation and Parks Commission meeting of February 21st, 2024.
So moved?
Hold on one second. Somebody's... Can I have a second, please?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0. Thank you. Unfinished business. Recreation Park renovation. Ally.
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission, I just wanted to provide a brief update about the Recreation Park renovation project. I also included this in my monthly report. The City Council voted to approve a contract with MIG to complete detailed design drawings for Phase 1 of Recreation Park renovation, including the teen center, the basketball court, the skate park, and renovations to Brett Field and softball field. So we did get the contract awarded. We're waiting to get it executed, and then we will have a kickoff meeting, so everything is moving ahead. We've also asked for additional money in the CIP to potentially make some cosmetic repairs to the sports courts in the meantime, and potentially the lawn bowling area. We got to work out some details with that, because I want Christopher and his team brought into that project, even though Public Works would probably spearhead the project. But we did at least ask for some additional funding so we could address those as well.
Okay.
Yep.
The green area.
Yes.
I guess that's what we're going to be calling it now, right?
Yes.
Between Joslin and the sports court. That is included in the renovation park, 1. Phase 1.
So
right?
it is not in the official Phase 1 as we're calling it. However, that's where we've asked for additional funding so we can address those issues.
I just
So we're-
wanted them to know.
Yeah, so we're hoping to be able to
Okay.
do all of it.
Perfect.
But we have to have someone come out and at least do a design and look at the irrigation and, for that, and then some repairs to the courts as well.
Okay, so this is a receive and file?
Yes.
So,
But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Can I ask, why are we gonna throw money at lawn bowling when nobody lawn bowls?
We're going to demo it.
Okay.
We're going to be demoing the lawn bowling and the bag toss and those other games that are over there and installing turf. That's our plan.
It's going to become a green area?
Yes, with the
Yeah.
CIP money. We did see a
Right.
design, but we don't have the funding for that right now, so we're gonna at least tear it all out and turf it. That's our plan, to just at least turf it, so it's usable space.
And you mean grass?
Yes.
You don't mean turf?
Right, grass.
Yes.
Grass turf.
Grass
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
okay.
You have to
Because
change our
like,
ma- yeah.
Natural.
Change our
recently,
Natural.
it's kind of become like dog park area.
Yeah, no,
No.
that's exactly what this is for, is to tear all of that down, demo all of that, and expand the green space, the checkout grass, to go all the way down to the end. And then if at some point we want to do additional, amenities or seating, or, we'll do that. But right now, we're going to at least make it useful.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I move that we receive and file. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. That is 5-0. Thank you. Okay, new business. Field Allocation Review Working Group.
Yes, Honorable Chair, members of the commission. Yes, so I have been asked by city councilmen to do some additional review of the field allocation policy, specifically with regard to field closures, field rest. However, during the last few months, staff have Realize that we need to make some potential changes to the allocation policy, giving the city a little bit more room to bring in different uses as we see fit. We would work potentially with the commission. So I'm asking that the commission nominate two of your colleagues to work with staff to go through this and bring it back to, it is gonna need to go back to the city council. But I'd like to have two members of the commission work on this alongside staff, and then we will bring something to the commission and then to the council.
Okay.
And we did do it, yes, we did update it last year.
It's been updated quite a few times.
Yes.
I was on the initial, when this policy first came into, we established it with another Mancini.
That would be my mother.
Yeah, back in 2004.
Yes.
And I think it's been a good policy. I'm really interested to see what staff has in mind. So I'm interested.
I think that it's important that Bob is on the committee. And then the second person is not quite as important, just because he has so much history. I would be happy to do it. I don't feel like, I'm on the youth sports council, so it's kind of like,
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't be on it.
right, because you might represent the
Yeah,
youth
I may
sports
end up
council.
representing, yeah, on the
Because we're
sports
gonna get them
council, so-
involved as well.
So maybe but if nobody else wants to, I guess the most important question for me is, are the meetings probably gonna be during the day, in which case it'll be.
We haven't, yeah, I
but
mean, I'm
probably-
assuming they will be, maybe Zoom or if,
So I'd like to suggest Bob and one of the three of you is my recommendation.
So I think, and I'm happy to defer to anyone who's, dying to be on it, but I also have a perspective because I've been involved in the other sports that have been competing. And I think that one of the things that may have changed and may be sort of bringing this up is that there are more and more and more groups competing for space that has not increased, other than the Raytheon acquisition.
correct.
In many years. And there's, because of those competing interests, I think it's probably, I think council's right, that there's some loopholes, there's some areas that, need to be sort of shored up. And I think also we've had a staff change, which is great.
Right.
Because that's a new pair of eyes on the situation. So I think, I'm happy to do it if the two of you aren't interested, but I definitely feel like it's time.
And we also, we just signed and executed the JUA with the school district, so we've got, opportunity for some additional field space, so I think the timing is appropriate.
Go ahead, Julie.
I don't have a specific interest. I don't have like an open time slot to fill. But if it's a need, I can do it. But I don't have to do it.
I'm happy to be of service and help, but I have no heartburn either way.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
How much do you care? And how do you feel about, and how do you feel about the fact that you are involved in some of those groups? I'm thinking maybe you shouldn't either,
Right.
because you have vested interest potentially.
In those
Anymore.
groups anymore.
That's true, yeah.
So it's more history. It's that I have history, but you can tap it in any way you want.
Jeanette, do you have experience in your position? I mean, would that be helpful?
I do. I mean, yeah.
Then that would be better.
For Santa Monica, I oversee all recreation, including our field sport allocation guidelines, so
That would
I'm
be
happy to.
helpful.
And I'm
I nominate
an aquatic
Jeanette and Bob.
person by nature, so I'm an outsider completely.
I'd like to nominate Jeanette and Bob.
Okay. Oh, I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeanette and Bob, there's a
Can I-
motion.
That's a motion. Can I have a second?
I already seconded.
You did? You did? I'm
All
sorry.
right.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Thank you.
Was Was that easier than you thought?
Yes, that was great. Thank you.
Okay, okay, that's two. Approve the working group and appoint two, we did that. Okay. Reports of subcommittees. Aquatics. Where are we going?
That's right. I flew back Sunday, so that's why I was able to pull that off. All right, so what did we discuss Monday? So we're working on a couple of things. One is the success criteria, and specifically a document about, to parallel in many ways the field allocation policy, but for the aquatics facility policy. And so we did have some discussion about that ranking system. I'm not sure we moved it forward, but I think that was because Joseph still requires a little more time to work on it. He took more feedback from the committee, and he's getting on that. We didn't really have a plunge update other than council did pass the approval to go to bid, or to
We
award
awarded
the bid, 'cause
construction.
we've already, yeah, so construction's been awarded, and my understanding is that that will begin soon.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And what was the third one? Oh, the staffing, yeah, we got a bit of a staffing update. So while they've hired a number of open positions, there are still a large number of open positions, and that they're working feverishly to fill. It is taking a while for lifeguards to get through the process, so people who have kids who may be interested in being lifeguards in the summer need to get on that now, get their applications in.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Transportation Subcommittee, right back to you.
Yeah, it was a busy week. We had that meeting as well this week, and what we were trying to do was make sure that we got the budget request in for the funding, which it sounds like happened, so we discussed that. And we also had talked about some funds that were gonna be allocated to a shuttle that, not
Were
a shuttle,
diverted.
but a vehicle that we got back.
Right.
So that was pretty much the extent of that conversation.
Okay. Youth Sports Council.
No meeting.
We have a new field allocation review committee in place.
Okay. Recreation Parks Renovation Subcommittee, you pretty much handled it already.
Yes.
So that was our report for that. And with that, we'll move to Director's Report. Ally?
Yes, so I've provided a written report for all of the commissioners with several updates. I'm not going to go through it. However, if anybody has any questions about anything that's in the report, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone? Questions? I'm looking down to my right.
I just wanted to ask about the, and have a comment about, the seniors and when it comes to the Meals on Wheels numbers. And specifically just about Meals on Wheels. In the past, like before COVID, Meals on Wheels were delivered by volunteers. Now, during COVID and after COVID, it's now delivered by
Staff.
rec park employees.
Staff. Yeah.
Right. And I think a big missed opportunity now is the seniors are not getting the one-on-one visit opportunity. It's more of a drop. And the seniors are lonely, and the seniors are not getting that, hey, Bill, can you change that light bulb for me? Or a little bit of a visit and a check-in. And I know in the past, those seniors needed that time, and they needed that little bit of check-in and that little bit of maybe somebody needs to go back and check on Sally, or, I think we need to maybe look at that, and I think there are those volunteers that used to do that Meals on Wheels program that still want to do that. And I think our seniors deserve that and need it. And I think that's a real important part of our community, and I think we should get back to that. And our seniors here in this community are a very important part of our community. And we have enough of them, and we need to look out for them. And just that meal delivery is our way of checking in on them. And when the Rotary Club was doing the shopping for them during COVID, there were some seniors that we had that we would go to shop for them, and they didn't want us to shop for them. They just wanted us to stand on their front porch and talk to them. And that just little bit of visiting with them is so important to them. And that Meals on Wheels program is not just that meal, because the meal's really not that good. It's just that little bit of visit. And I think the Meals on Wheels program is very important to them. And I think we need to look at getting back to that. And whatever it takes, I think is very important for this city to get back to that. So I don't know what it takes, but I think we need to look at that. So that's one thing that I would like to get back to. And I think that we have plenty of volunteers out there that used to do that program that are looking to get back into that. And so that's something that I would like to look into. So that's what I wanted to look at on your report there.
Do you want, I can respond. Is that your only comment?
And then I don't think I bring up the library park thing
Right.
in that, right?
Yeah, right.
I
Wait
bring it
till
up
the end.
on my comments.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm happy to talk with staff about this and how the transition worked, you know, how it's been going. I do know we have a staff person that's in this position, so I'd have to work with HR because it's sometimes problematic to take work from a staff person and give it to a volunteer. There's some rules around that, but potentially maybe the volunteers could go along, or, you know, I think we can enhance it in some way. But we can definitely look into that, and I'll ask Ryan to bring a report back. Maybe not next commission meeting, but the meeting after. Give him
Okay.
some time to do some research. He will need to reach out to HR and just, you know, because that is always you know, just a little bit of a challenge, so.
Okay.
But we're happy to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
And I agree, they like that. I agree. So maybe, again, maybe they can supplement and come along. You know, we can find a way to make it all work.
Because it was a big program before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything
Commissioner
else
Stillman?
for Ally? All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for that report. Commissioner comments? Commissioner Lubes?
No comments.
Commissioner Stolnak? Julie?
Okay. So I wanted to bring up the thing about at the council meeting where they were rejecting the bids for construction of the library park pathways moving forward. I know that we had talked about that at a commission meeting, and so there was $199,000 to the new project, going to a new project. So I was wanting to know what's happening with that. How come they're rejecting bids on that?
I'll bring that up in my comments at the
Okay.
end.
And then also, driving down El Segundo Boulevard, they have now planted the new trees. Along El Segundo Boulevard, looks like box trees and some other trees, and all the plants are in and everything. It looks really nice. I know the box trees grow very quickly, and so hopefully that'll all grow in nicely. Hopefully the medians will be maintained well, and it will all, you know, grow in nicely there. And then also, I want to recognize the Women's Club, because the Women's Club has been working very hard on Mondays in Library Park. And they get down there and work on the Rose Garden, which has been a project of the El Segundo Women's Club for many, many decades. And they get down there and work, and they cut back all those roses in January. And I was walking in the park on Monday morning with my dog, and the rose bushes are all grown in nicely, and they're going to be blooming soon. And I just want to thank them for all the work that they've been doing and down there. And it's really going to be beautiful this season with all of those roses. So thank you. And that is it for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gant.
Yeah, I have two comments and want to plays off nicely. I was just going to thank volunteers and staff. I was walking through Library Park as well, and I thought that pollinator garden is so beautiful. I was on the phone with my sister this morning, actually, and I was like, this is just gorgeous. I'm going to make sure to mention it tonight, so thank you. It was lovely. And then I also had a busy day today. Went for a swim at lunch, and I know this is something that we've been discussing a lot in aquatic subcommittee. Just want to raise it again in maybe a more public setting that your staff were amazing as always. Joe was lifeguarding, which he's been doing a lot, and so I would just want to urge, and if there's anything we can do to get him some much needed help, him, you know, supervisory and management level staff being on tower lifeguarding all day is not ideal. It's not a great use of city funds. And there was just one lifeguard on the pool, which is fine. We're not breaking any rules by any stretch. It's not ideal. And they had to close down the instructional pool due to lack of staffing. It was a gorgeous day. The pool was packed. The competition pool was. There was a lot of swimmers on that lunch hour. So it's a beloved facility. We just need to get the staff who are already there some more staff support, and having lifeguards waiting months on end to get a job working at a pool is just unrealistic. And I know staff here are doing everything they possibly can, so I just want to put this out to whoever may be listening in Human Resources that we need some more lifeguards, especially coming into summer season. How we'll be able to open and operate Hilltop Pool if we can't even operate the one pool is very concerning. So I just wanted to raise that here. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chairperson Watson.
What she said.
And the only thing, can we get Elias to come to the next meeting?
Yes, he actually texted me and he apologized. He had next meeting's date on his calendar as opposed to tonight. So he
Okay,
said,
I just want to
"Please
make sure that we get those.
please make apologies to the commission." Yes,
Okay.
I asked him to bring both of these updates, so
Perfect.
he will be here.
With that, I am done. We'll go to staff comments. Linnea.
I will just piggyback on what Kelly mentioned earlier. I was at the council meeting last night, and the Prop A funds that were sold, so we had, I think it was 740,000 that were lapsing come July 1st. And so our new CFO made a deal with the City of Commerce to sell those funds for 75 cents on the dollar. So we were able to get, I think it was $555,000.
But unrestricted.
Unrestricted back to our
Which is great.
budget, which went into equipment replacement fund for the time being, which has recreation park equipment in there, as well as all the other city equipment on there as well. And so I just wanted to update you guys because I know we had talked about those funds previously. And 75 cents to $1 is a good, excellent deal for buying back.
All right.
Remind me why we just couldn't spend it in time?
Yeah, so we
Bottom line.
had, yes, we had a deal originally. So when you have lapsing funds, the idea is to use it for a big van purchase or shuttle purchase. We do have our shuttle that has sat there since 2020 that doesn't have any drivers to drive it, and we have moved to contract services that we've discussed here. But we had a deal and a contract in place with a company to buy an electric shuttle, but their vendor that they use to purchase the shuttle and then swap out to the electric system went out of business, and they haven't found a new vendor. So the rush in order to get it done and here so we can pay for it before July 1 with the company, we talked with finance endlessly, and just to have the ease of mind of selling that before July 1 instead of having those funds lapse and then getting an audit for that was the move we decided to make.
So it was that vendor issue and the
Vendor
couldn't do it?
issue, we don't have drivers, we have moved into a different direction of working with contracts for those services, and those have been working well, so that's why.
Okay, thank you. Christopher?
I just have one correction on the report that I had. It's for the pollinator garden installation at Library Park. It's actually going to be April 5th, not April 10th. That's our target.
Okay. Thank you. And Ally, we're back to you.
Yes, so I wanted to provide some follow-up to a couple of things that have been discussed. So the library park pathways that Commissioner Stolnak brought up, this is CDBG funding that we were using for this, and CDBG funding is really restricted as well. It's basically ADA improvements, anything that furthers ADA accessibility, but it's still very restricted on what you can use it for. And we were in a rush to get the money spent, and that's when we sort of looked at this idea of redoing the pathways at Library Park. But it wasn't an ideal project to begin with. It's gonna, drastically sort of change the way the layout of the park is as far as installing railings, and we've got concerts in the park there. The timeline was going to disrupt the entire summer. We would have had to move everything out of the park for the summer, starting in, I think, in like May and going through August. That was the time that the vendor was going to be able to do it. Sometimes that's the challenge with the funds, is that they're very restricted on their time. And you got to get a vendor, you got to get a contract approved, you have to make sure that you're able to actually complete the project. And again, it wasn't a high priority, I don't think, for the city council, and not for staff either, because of the impact to the park. So they're going to be doing some additional curb cuts and other ADA improvements around the city for that money. But we'll continue to get CDBG funding, so if at some point we determine that that's a priority, then we can look into using that, that money at that time. It was also, the bid was also much higher than, we were gonna have to spend additional money to get it done. And then my other comment was on the lifeguards. So I wanted to let the commission know that I'm in everyday communication with Joe and everyday communication with HR. The city manager is well aware of the issues that we're having. I'm actually going to be meeting with the city manager and the HR director tomorrow at 2 o'clock to discuss this issue. It's a very complex issue. Our pay is not competitive, so we have to do an official salary study. That's the way the city does it. We don't just pay people more. We have to do a salary study. We have to bring it to the city council. They have to weigh in on it. We let the public weigh in on it. So that's probably our most significant issue in retaining and keeping employees. The other is the time frame that it takes to onboard folks. HR has been short-staffed. There are, as you all know, we've had significant turnover in our own department, and this is across the city. So they are, struggling to keep up. One of the things that I asked Joe to do today was to gather information on potentially a contract lifeguard vendor that we could bring people in on contract. We've also, started to kind of have those tough conversations about pool hours and activities. How do we manage this? Because it is just absolutely not sustainable for Joe to work the amount of hours he's working. And, unless we can get more lifeguards in, we're gonna have to look at, how do we staff the facility more efficiently? And we're looking at all of those things. And so I just wanted to provide that update. And I think those were the only additional comments I had.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we'll adjourn to the April 17th, 2024 meeting.
Thank you.